Hello, everyone. This is your host, Laiba, and we are back with another exciting episode of our podcast. And for today's podcast, we'll be discussing about digital twins and its impact on fashion industry. And for that purpose, we have an incredible guest with us. We have Marcus with us, who will discuss this entire topic with us, and he will share his knowledge about this topic. So, hi, Marcus. How is it going?
Hi, Liba. Thank you very much for having me here. Everything good, and looking forward to explore the topic of the digital twin with you.
Yeah. So, our audience would love to know about you. So, just give us your introduction or your background. What do you do? Whatever you like to tell us about yourself.
Yes, so as you can see from my name, I'm Italian. I've been living in Europe for most of my life. My background is in corporate finance and M&A, so I'm an investment professional. A little bit more boring than the Web3 space that I'm living in right now. I moved to Asia, China in specific, in 2015, and this is how I got in touch with the crypto industry because back in time in 2015, 16, there were a lot of ICO and new project upcoming. And so that drove my interest into this wonderful space. I dig into the blockchain industry as well. I had a background given my background, I also had some experience with fashion company because we advise or we invested or we help also doing IPO for fashion company. So I have a pretty good understanding in how to build a brand, what is the manufacturing process, what are the value into the brand equity of the fashion company. And then when in 2019 I got in touch with the NFT technology, so that one of the first project was CryptoKitties. I immediately found a very interesting use case for sneakers in that case, because I'm a big sneaker collector as well, big sneaker collector of Nikes, Adidas, and all other streetwear. And one of the main problem is authenticity and legitimate shape. And that's how I thought that the NFT could be a solution for fashion, for the fashion industry in general, to create a bonding between a digital asset and a physical asset. So this drove me to, let's say, elaborate something that was at the beginning most focused on streetwear and then expanded into all kind of wearables. And this is how I started creating the concept that is today another one, a Web3 platform for digital fashion product. They are metaverse ready, wearable, and also redeemable in their physical form.
That sounds very interesting. As you mentioned that you've been in the industry of that you've been associated with the fashion industry. So, talking about digital twins, how do you think digital twins could impact the fashion industry in the coming year?
I guess that the first thing that I would have to mention is the possibility to create a authentication process. So as you may know, there is the Aurea consortium that is a consortium of company that use the Aura blockchain that belongs to the Prada Foundation. So this consortium allow most of the luxury brands to be part of the consortium, use the authentication process, embedding NFC chip in their garment, and provide to the user an exclusive product that is authenticated and whose authentication is not subjective, so it's not left to the hand of an authenticator or a bunch of authenticator, but is something that is fixed, is imprinted into the blockchain that, as we know, is immutable in terms of recording. So I guess the authentication process, the legitimacy check, is one of the first and main advantage for fashion and luxury company to embrace the digital twin solution. But I guess that for us, it's also more into the engagement. I make an example. If you buy a bag, a jacket, pair of shoes in the boutique, either it's on the boutique or you get it online. The moment that you receive the box or the moment you get out of the boutique, that is the end of your shopping experience, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
no need for you to be connected to the luxury brand. There is no need for the luxury brand to connect with you unless they want to sell you something else, right? So there is like a transactional relationship. What is possible to do, and what another one on his way is trying to do, is to create a long-lasting relationship. So the post-sale relationship between the brand and the user. So once you have a digital twin, it means that your physical apparel has a life also online, has an identity online. So that means that you can also interact with the brand online, and eventually also with the new technology upcoming offline, to create a kind of a relationship that is more rather than a brand consumer relationship. So I guess that this is the next challenge that most of the brands will face in the fashion industry, because because of the characteristic of the audience. We have to understand that nowadays the audience is more attentive to the community level and engagement. And once we had the millennials that represent the today, the majority of the today audience, that is that they like to express themselves with the way they look, the way they wear. But the Gen Z and the future generation that are Web3 native, they will be more interested into what who I am. Like, I have to identify myself not only by what I wear, but also to who I belong. And it's a little bit for me going back to the high school and college, where you belong to a group of people, you have your brotherhood, sorority, and then that's how you identify yourself. This is something coming up in the new generation, and it is definitely a trend that the luxury fashion brand don't have to miss, to create this sense of community within their audience.
Mm-hmm. So, as you mentioned about the challenges also, so what do you think that what are the most prominent challenges that would be faced or that are even currently being faced by this technology?
I think the main problem is the adoption. So if you take most of the metaverse, Decentraland, Sandbox, we've been working with them. We've been doing events, or even like virtual events. We done with Decentraland an event in during the Milano Fashion Week with one of the luxury brand that we work with, and
Mm-hmm.
the audience was interested, but they didn't know about the central end. So because there is no adoption, because there is the technology is not refined enough to provide, let's say, an enjoyable experience. Uh, I think that's the problem of the adoption of digital twin, because you need to wear those twins only in those platforms. But if you don't enjoy, if you don't have a unique experience using those
Mm-hmm.
platforms, you may be not be interested in having a digital twin. So I guess adoption is the first challenge that we're facing. The second challenge is also the distribution of the product. If we talk about phygital, so the digital twin and the physical product, there is also the problem of availability of the product. So what we do in another one, we try to distribute the more product possible among user, in order to have user that have a phygital product, they can enjoy the perks and benefit of having a phygital product. And make an example: you go to a concert, the concert is sponsored by a brand, and the people that wear the brand could access the concert just simply wearing the apparel with the NFC chip embedded, and the clerk at the entrance, they can scan the NFC and you go. So hassle free, you don't have to take out your phone, connecting your MetaMask wallet, checking the NFT, or scanning a QR code and do all other kind of functions. So that's the beauty of a digital product. Now, in order to have it, you need to have the venue that allow you to use this technology for the ticketing. You need to have product enough for people to wear it, and so you need owners. And then also you need brand and sponsor that understand the capability of the technology and provide the sponsorship for this kind of events. So I guess the adoption is the key word here for describing the main challenge that we have in the industry.
Yeah. So, as we have discussed the challenges, so let's talk about sustainability. So, do you think that digital twins could help this fashion industry sustain?
Let me tell you an example on that. We launched a collection of digital sneakers. Now, the collection aim was to engage the communities and creating an iconic product for every community. So colorway, each community had its own colorway. Now, what the way we did it, because I know how it works with the manufacturing, a shoemaker are the most difficult suppliers because they need to plan in advance all the material and to make a shoe is a pair of shoe is not like making a t-shirt, right? So a t-shirt, you just have a plain t-shirt and then you print something on it and it's very easy. You can have it in 5, 7 days. Making a shoe, especially if you make a new silhouette, it may take from 3 to 6 months, and then you have to order the leather, etc. So we planned the production with those suppliers, but I said I don't know how many shoes I have to produce. So I bought a slot of their production time within a year, and then I said I'm gonna sell the NFT. Depending on how many NFT I sell and how many people want to redeem the physical shoe, I will give you the order, and then in 3 to 4 months you will produce. So this way, if the brands adopt this kind of sale module with their consumer, it means that you get rid of the waste, you get rid of the stock, you get rid of the inventory, and
Hmm.
sometimes you can even lower the prototyping process because you only produce what is being sold and what is being required for. Because for t-shirt, for example, they usually produce a certain amount of t-shirt in different size. They focus on the middle size, and then the way they make money is that they overproduce. Instead of producing 1,000, they produce 2,000. Then they will sell 1,000, but because the margins are so high, the other 1,000 that they produce is probably going to go to waste. But they
Hmm.
produce it because there is the minimum quantity, the MOQ established from the supplier. So if the fashion industry embrace this way of creating demand on the apparel, it means that can create efficiency from the production point, but also from saving the and wasting. Of course, I can tell you sustainability won't be a full green product because NFT and digital assets consume energy. The transaction generated from one wallet to the other, it's
Mhm.
energy that is consumed. But definitely sustainability in terms of the production process.
Do you think that digital twins will play its role in revolutionizing the fashion business?
I do believe so because again there are a lot of companies that nowadays are completely changing the way of prototyping. They don't do any more physical prototyping, but they do digital prototyping. So that means that if you enable user to have the right technology to do virtual try-on, I don't know if you see, but recently Tommy Hilfiger used this technology of a AR mirror where you can watch yourself in the mirror and you can pick the different
Swipe.
clothing and try, yeah, swipe and try on you. So that I think is a revolutionary technology because it's not only about what you can do, but it's after you purchase that what we at another one focus more, but it's also how you can enhance the shopping experience because nowadays most of the people shop online. And I mean, coming from Asia, it's like 95% of the people shop online. They don't even go to the boutique. Now, what is the reason for you to go to the boutique? Is the shopping experience, is the environment that you have there, and that is something that I think the digital twin with the help of the VR and AR will help. the fashion industry to repurpose their retail solution, because I still believe that physical presence will be important, will still be important, but they have to change the dynamic of the interaction with the user. So I do believe for the shopping experience it will change, but definitely will change when the adoption of those virtual experience and metaverse will be higher, when you can actually have your real outfits also in a virtual, in a digital space.
Yeah, I think that we will know when we will be at that, at that time, and when we will know in the future. So thank you so much, Marco, for your time. It was my pleasure to have you, and I hope my audience and people watching this podcast will know and have known more about digital twin and fashion industry. It was great to have you, and I hope we will be catching up some other day too for some other topic on related to digital twin. So I think this is it for today's episode. We will be back with another exciting episode soon. So stay tuned. This is your host Laiba Khan signing off.